Hello.
You're
Hello.
on.
Uh,
You're on.
okay. Hello, everyone. It's Monday, and welcome to my show. It's coffee with Ori, but no coffee today. Today is water. Anyway, guys, last week we started to talk about the awakening, and I realized that there are a lot of other things that were not explained. I explained to you about the types of spirits there were, which was, I think, the week before. But when we talked about the awakening, um, or vice versa, but when we talked about the awakening, the one thing that I forgot as far as the awakening is that everyone awakes in a different way. An awakening doesn't just mean that you become more aware of what's going on in your universe. It also means that um, you can start developing your psychic abilities or mediumship abilities. And when it comes on, if you're not doing it right, or if you're not guided, you can end up going crazy. And I know that it sounds like very extreme, but that is why when we work white table, or when we do things that are spiritually inclined, we tend to pray a lot and we tend to meditate a lot so that we can become one with not just the universe, but also the internal part of us. So it's very important that prayer is always prayer and meditation is always a part. Hey, Sadia. It's always a part of Niete, how are you? It's always a part of our ritual when we're growing and when we're starting to develop. Now, one of the things that I have to warn you, I have to warn a lot of people, because I've done this. I mean, I developed at a very, very young age. So let me explain this. There are people who I've known have had an awakening. Women who would have episodes, and they would run down the street like a crazy woman, naked or with clothes, and people thought that they were crazy. I can actually tell you and guarantee you that there are more awakened people in the mental institutions than there are in the streets. I bet you that there are more crazy people out in the street than there are in the mental institution, because they've had awakenings and they don't know how to control it. And of course, it's considered being schizophrenia because, of course, you're hearing things. Of course, you're seeing things. Okay. Now, one of the things that I laugh about, and I mean, it's not funny, but it can get funny. I mean, I know that most people are used to getting like chills when something is behind you, like you get this weird chill, and either the hairs on your back stand up or the hairs on your arms stand up, and sometimes that happens when you are around certain people. That's how you can tell that the person you're with or the person you're around is just as spiritual as you, and they're also having an awakening. So at the end of the day, as you're going through this, sometimes you can be home and you can pray. Hey, Ron, thanks for showing up. And sometimes you're home, you're sitting down, you hear voices in your head, or you hear your own voice, because spirit comes to you in your own voice at the beginning when you're awakening, because it's the only voice that doesn't scare you. It's your voice. So you think it's your inner voice, you think it's your God voice, just yourself answering yourself, when in reality it's not. It's when you get used to it and you start to thank spirit for giving you the information that the voice changes. But sometimes you're praying, and no matter how much you have become in tune, you feel like there's always someone watching you, and then you get these weird chills, or you can pray and you start to feel weird, and your body starts to feel light, or your head starts to feel light, and you feel like something is trying to take over your body. Don't be afraid. I know it's easier said than done. Don't be afraid, because the one thing that I can tell you is that spirit understands your situation, and spirit understands that if you're praying, the reason you're praying is because you want to educate them. You want to make sure that when they do come down, or when they do come around you, that they are educated, that they don't throw you, on the floor, because I've seen that happen too. They throw you on the floor, or they, you fall, or you're running. And yes, you get a warm feeling. Sometimes at home, you can be at home and you can be working, and all of a sudden you get this warm feeling. And sometimes you get, you can get, it goes from hot to cold. So at the end of the day, it gets crazy. So hold on 1 second. So when that happens, when you get that feeling that you're in a room, and all of a sudden, if it's cold, it gets hot, or it gets cold, or you smell perfume, or you smell like cigars or cigarettes. We have to remember that, because our souls are old and we've been here. Sometimes what we're smelling is either the perfume of our grandparents or our parents, or people that have crossed on, or people that are your own spiritual guides that walk with you, because we all have them. So at the end of the day, yeah, Kat, I mean, I've seen people go through many changes. Some people are born to be mediums and help people. Some people are meant to be white lighters and help people. Some people are meant to do a lot of things. There are many ways that spirit manifests. In your case, spirit manifests in fashion. So you're looking to dress people and make them beautiful. So therefore, that is your talent. I'm sure that your intuition is very strong, because I do know you and I know how you are. So I'm sure that your intuition is strong, which is a good thing. But there are people that paint sometimes. and that's spirit guiding them to paint. Some people do different crafts. Some people create things. Some people create things with wires. It all has a lot to do with what spirit is guiding you. And smells. You know, what happens is your senses get more heightened. When spirit is around you, your senses get more heightened. So you can hear louder. So loud noises will bother you. You may not be able to see that well. You think that you're looking and all of a sudden your eyes get cloudy or they get really bright. So these are things that happen, or you get these whispering sounds in your ears, like, but it's really nothing, but it is something. It's spirit, but they're not educated enough, or they're not strong enough to manifest, so you don't really hear them and you get scared. Don't be afraid. You know, just don't ever be afraid to tell spirit. Make yourself clear, because I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. So that they're able to tell you what's going on and try to show you what's happening. You know, spirit will always find a way to try to make you stronger than what you are, and will always try to help you manifest the best quality of who you are inside. So never fear that you're not that's also part of it, Kat. The tingling in your head, that's also part of it. That's why I said sometimes they feel like they're coming on you and you don't know, but you can't fear something if you know that deep down inside your intentions that you have for life, for people, you know, for anything, if you have good intentions, yes, of course, bad things come, but the majority of the time, if your intentions are good, and if you send out light and love to people, and you want to help people, and you want to in your case you want to address people, you know what? That's all positive energy. So when it's coming on, if you get scared, you can always tell spirit, I choose not to participate in this right now. I'm afraid. And spirit will back off. Don't ever feel that you cannot tell spirit that you don't want to participate, because you can. You can also tell them when you were hearing things that you wanted to be more clear. So they will make it clear. They will make you understand. But like I said, prayer is a key, and meditation is also a key. Chanting, if you don't pray, chanting is important. Connecting with your spirit guides, closing your eyes and meditating and asking them to show you who they are, or to give you their names. But just remember that, you know, most spiritual people should always have some type of altar to represent what they believe should be their altar. Some people have, like people like our practices, we have 7 cups and a big one in the middle, or we have 9 cups and one in the middle, which is big. In my house, there's water everywhere. There's water, there's cups and glasses of water everywhere, on top of the refrigerator, you know, in front of statues. There's always water. One, because I'm a water element, and because 2, the deity that I am initiated, that lives within me, is also a deity of water. So that's why water is so important for me. But basically, we use these spiritual, what we call bóvedas, but they're like altars. We use water because water is a filtering system. It picks up negativity. So sometimes the water gets with a lot of bubbles. Sometimes the water can get really murky. And sometimes the water can start getting really gooey because it's picking up a lot of vibrations, maybe of people visiting you or whatever. But you just go and throw the water in the toilet, or you can throw it outside, and then clean it really well, and then refill it and put it back. Candles are always important. Light is always important. Light is important, not just for spirit. Light is also important for angels, guides, and all kinds of things that exist that we don't really want to get into right now. You know, both the good and the bad always look for light. I know there are people, I don't think I've discussed this, but there are people who get attacked, or what doctors call sleep paralysis. It's not really sleep paralysis. It's actually called a haunt, HANT. A haunt is usually spirits of young souls that have died, or even old souls, like talking about seniors, that are looking for light. And because your light emanates so light or so bright, they come to you. And they come to you seeking light, but they don't realize that they're damaging you because they're on top of you and you can't move. So my suggestion is, don't fear. Just pray within yourself. Or if you're able to understand it, let them know that you choose for them to leave. And it's simple. I mean, it's not really complicated. Sometimes you just have to be verbal. Sometimes, you have to try to move your hands and your foot, or some part of you, so that it can release you. Or sometimes you just pray. I've learned that for me, I just basically pray and just tell them, it's time for you to go, and they leave. But for people who have had that experience and they get scared, just understand that hands are not demonic, and they're not really trying to hurt you. They're just trying to find light. So you can pray for them and send them to light, and then they'll back off. There's also traveling spirits. Okay, so spirits that we can walk into a room, or we can walk into a party, or we can walk, and these spirits kind of like linger with you, and they can make your life a little miserable, because then you find that your luck is running. It starts to change, and your finances start to change, and your business sense starts to change, and your mentality starts to change, and your attitude starts to change. And these spirits are, I call them lonely spirits, because these are spirits that they belong to other people, but the people who they belong to are not giving them either the proper light or the proper acknowledgement. So they have to find somewhere else to go. So although I gave you the list of spirits, like anniversary spirits, or residual spirits, or ethereal spirits, or spirits that kind of do haunting, or different types of poltergeist. In certain ways, we're not really talking about poltergeist. We're talking about light within you, the light inside of you. And by meditating and by doing other things, the light inside you gets stronger. So as the light gets stronger, you're going to find that there's always going to be an obstacle. There's a saying that says, the closer you get to God, the more obstacles you have. So the obstacles are not just spiritual. They're also, they are spiritual, but sometimes they have to do with people being toxic. Sometimes they have to do with family being toxic. Sometimes work is toxic. Sometimes different situations can create the toxicity, and it will make you feel when you go home like you're drained all the time. So maybe it's time to either start investing in learning about spiritual cleansings, or saging yourself, or maybe misting yourself with something, or even learning how to carry something to protect you in your pocket, or women in their bras to protect you. We used to make talismans made out of red cloth and fill them with many things, plus prayers, where we used to sew them. Actually, I did like 4 of them a week ago, no, 2 weeks ago, for some clients. And it's been a long time since I've done it, but people have asked for it, and it works out pretty good. But like I said, we are a life force, and the life force that lives within us is another life force. And the life force that lives within that life force is a continuous life force. So imagine a continuous life force that goes beyond what we can even imagine, different dimensions, not just past lives, not just portals of different dimensions backwards in time, but also forward in time. So imagine you being a vessel to be able to not just go backwards, but also go forward, to connect to the universe, and start receiving what they call these Alexandria numbers. I think that it's from the Library of Alexandria. they had codes. Sometimes the more you meditate, you'll start getting numbers by spirit, maybe like a 33407 or whatever. Each number in sequences, it's earthly numbers or it's universal numbers that work in sequence to help you. There are sequence numbers to heal you, to open up your chakra all the way up to your 12th chakra. Although we were taught to believe that there's only second and seventh chakras, there really isn't. There's 12. It can go up to 12. And in some people, it can actually go up to 13. And how do I say that? When you're cutting cords, sometimes you're cutting cords, which is a form of releasing negative energy that we have within our bodies as spiritual beings. So cutting cords, people who can cut cords, like Dr. D, you can. I remember a long time ago, I had this girl. She did cord cutting, and she did it for the first time. And I know she went to like up to 13, it was shocking to her to cut cord. And she went up to number 13, and she says, and I did feel better. It wasn't like I'm going crazy. She belonged to the Brotherhood of the White Light. I don't know if anybody out there knows what that is, or if anybody ever experienced it. But I know that, it has a lot of prayers. It has a lot of sequences dealing with angels, but it also deals with not just angels. It also deals with supposedly, you reach a certain level where your spirit goes, and then your body is inhabited by another being. And that's when you reach like the higher level, according to them. But I do remember that, that when you create a circle for yourself, yes, I'll talk about that in a second, Kat. When you create a circle around yourself, when you go in, the best way to do it, especially if you're going to do something like meditate or whatever, is always take your thumb and always start here in your chest, and then create a circle around you. Stretch your arms all the way into the back. And then, as you're doing it, you say, it is by my will alone that I choose to enter this circle. And then you sit down and you meditate. Why? Because you're letting the universe know that nobody's pushing you, that you're allowing yourself, the part of the universe that rolls within your body and your mind, you're allowing it to connect to the outer universe. So you basically tend to connect to a different vibration, because everything is about vibrational pull and dimensional pull. So we actually connect to these things. Now, Kathy, you made a really important point there. A lot of us, because I know I do. I see a lot of 111. I see 333s all the time. I see 555s, 777s, but mostly 111 and 333. I know ones mean that your higher angels and your hierarchy and higher elements of spirits are watching over you, and they're watching your every move and guiding you through it. I know that 3 means that you're either like in the center, or you're about to begin something new. Something new is coming. When you start thinking about 4, is also changes, but also you have to let go of things. And yes, Ron, you are an elder of the 12th Ray Mystery School, part of the Brotherhood and Sisterhood of the Light. Okay, so yes, so then you do know what I am talking about. So for anyone who doesn't know, Ron is the gentleman who speaks to angels, and he does a lot of great things. It's a good human being, a good soul. And he says like that we're creating a platform for yourselves when you create the circle. And the 333 is ascending masters are working with you. Yes. So there is a lot of things that you can look, but you can also look them up. Whenever you start to see 111, just look it up. Go online and just check, what does 111 mean? It will tell you what angels will tell you what these numbers mean. And then you'll know that you're heading in the right direction. Sometimes we think that we're not heading in the right direction and we feel stuck. But it doesn't mean that we're not. It doesn't mean that we are stuck. It means that when we feel that we are stuck, I find that it's that you're really going in the right direction. You feel stuck, but you actually are going in the right direction. And if you learn to just be still, which I always used to tell people that just be still, and people say, I can't stand when you say that because how can you be still? Easy, be still. Get whatever is in here and learn to either release it or learn to meditate and allow it to go to the back and not make it such a big, don't make, an anthill into a molehill. Don't do that, because we have the tendency of creating something small and making it very big and very, very dramatic, especially if you fear spirit. Spirit, you shouldn't fear, because they're only here to do a job, and their job is to help us become, like I said, and pull out the better part of us. Sometimes we ignore it, unfortunately. And I do say unfortunately because there are a lot of Christians, and I have to be very honest. The reality is we were spiritual beings when we were first created. We were created by the universe. The same creator that created us created evil. He created good and he created evil. So at the end of the day, for people who may say, oh, that's yes, the Bible says it. God shines the light on the good and on the bad. He doesn't judge. We judge as people. And I also talked about that the last time. Now, what you have to understand is that we're living in a very toxic dimension. But a lot of the toxicity that surrounds us in this dimension is caused by people. It's not caused by God. It's not caused by the devil. It's caused by ignorance. It's caused by lack of knowledge. It's caused by allowing people to just change the way you believe things to better, not to better yourself, but to better themselves, so that they can pat themselves in the back and say, yes, I brought this person to the light. And that's why there's so many people that say, I'm a born again, which I keep telling you, I don't know what the hell that means. I don't even know what the hell it means that I found Christ. I don't understand that either. So at the end of the day, you can't find somebody that was never lost, and you cannot be born again if you were born and you were baptized in any way, shape, or form. Okay? So I don't understand that. So at the end of the day, who am I to understand it? I understand what I do. I understand about spirituality. I understand what the wants and the likes and dislikes of spirits. I know that there are people who assume that there's so many spirits that are really kind. Now, they're really not. So I know it's just one more minute, but I'm going to let and go into commercial now so that I can finish this, because we're not meditating today. Today, I want to finish this so that you guys can get a better understanding. So just remember that, I want you to hold on to that thought, okay? I want you to hold on to that thought and understand that we are here because we have a mission. Now, the question is, what is our mission? And if for any of you who feels that they have a mission, feel free to tap it in. I know I found my mission and I found my purpose. And part of my purpose was revealed to me. And although I was always angry, I've learned commercial time. And we will be Okay, guys. So I'm back. So, like I was saying, it took me a very long time, a very, 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 and I say, when I say a very long time, I mean I I went through spurts of trying to find myself, and I went through depression and got on medication and went through horrible times and actually felt like there was really no way out. And at the end of the day, Spirit showed me through people love and kindness because although I have said this many times, I don't trust in people, but I do trust in humanity because I believe that humanity as a whole has the ability to change and to become greater, but only when we unify, not when we separate, because that is what the 1% or the less than 1% wants of us. The only way they can conquer is by separating us. And while they do it, they will become continuously becoming richer. And because see, they don't want money anymore. These people want power. It's not about money anymore. So the awakening, what they don't realize is what they're doing is they're creating so many things in the world right now, and they're creating so many types of machines that are going up to space. And I mean, people who don't understand or who don't believe that there are people that actually live out there, they won't have a clue that the world is ending until it actually comes to their house. But the world is not going to end. People end. This planet has survived, and this Mother Nature has destroyed this planet, and she will continue to come back. And when I say Mother Nature, I mean the waters. They will continue to come back onto this planet and flood this whole planet and start over, as it's done many, many times. Now, the one thing that I can honestly tell you is that how do we link in? The 1% or the less of 1% of people that want power. They don't need money. They're billionaires. They don't need money. What they want is power. They want to control. They want to control what happens in this planet. So therefore, casualties of war, 9/11, all these things that happen, people say, no, they did this. You know what? If you're really smart and you really, 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 really want to research it. You know, these things, the Bible talks about these things, and if you really read Revelation, you'll understand most of it is politics. And it's not that the God is going to come and destroy or whatever. It's people. People or people who feel that they're glorified people because of their financial circumstances, they want to create havoc on this planet. They are the ones that are, they want to diminish the food chain so that we starve. They want to be able to remove stuff, but they don't want to put it back. You see, like I'm going to give you for instance, Africa. Africa is a self-sustaining country. Africa has everything. Okay, Africa has everything. Africa doesn't need anything. The only thing that Africa needs is unity, and they need people to stop taking their shit, because we and other countries go to Africa and take all their resources, and then they take it somewhere else and they built on that. When in reality, if you look at history, the most educated people came from Africa. And although we may not want to accept it, nobody of my complexion or lighter want to accept that we are all one person and we come from the same seed of Eve, which was not white. When you get to understand that, then you understand that we are all interconnected. Black, white. Albinos are white because it's a pigment. We are white because of pigment. It has nothing to do with anything else. But on a spiritual level, those of us who actually have been touched Some of us were born touched, and some of us were born activated by either an accident, a near-death experience, or them trying to commit suicide. Whatever happened activated them. But there are a lot of people like me in the world, and a lot of Hispanics, especially a lot of Hispanics, because our DNAs are intertwined with the African culture. So it's in our DNA. And I think Spirit finds it easier for us to be vessels for them to channel us. And if you're receptive, you can be a channeler, but not everybody was born to be a channeler, to actual channel spirit. Like I said, some people are born to be geniuses. Doesn't mean that they're geniuses because their brain is big. No, it means that at that particular moment, whatever spirit is dominating them or guiding them, or whatever angel, whatever it is, that is their contribution to society. So you have these young kids that are geniuses. That is their contribution to society. Like the girl who was talking about, the girl that this fool, which I don't mention the name because we don't speak of the dead, but the man who was in power not too long ago was laughing at that young girl because she was a young girl. She's talking about saving the planet. Well, do you honestly believe that she just decided one day that she was going to decide to talk about saving the planet? I don't think so. I believe that Spirit has a way of connecting the dots. And sometimes with the awakening, like I said earlier, it gets crazy. Sometimes paranoia sets in. Sometimes we can be in a group. We can go somewhere and we can go into a room and think and believe in our minds that everyone's looking at us. And it's not that people are not looking at us. It's that on a mental state and on a spiritual level, Spirit is showing you who they really are and what they really are. So although they're not physically looking at you, your eyes will physically see them looking at you, but it's not that they're looking at you. You're looking through them. You're looking at what their spirit is and what their soul is about. It's not about them trying to look down on you. It's them trying to figure out who you are. And your spirit is not allowing it because your spirit is looking back at them and saying, I see you. So at the end of the day, my friends, don't get paranoid when things are happening. When you feel something, listen, arguments do nothing. Arguments just cause problems. Arguments cause confusion. Wherever there's confusion and you have children, there's always problems. It opens the doors for bad spirits. It opens the door for poltergeists to come in. Children under the age of 7 are very susceptible because they don't know any better. They don't know anything about, they don't see color. They don't judge. That is something that is learned. So at the end of the day, they're innocent and they can see the good and the bad. As you get older, you start becoming more fearful. So when you start to do this, there are people that are going to think, oh, you're crazy. And they'll look at you as if you're crazy or you're losing your mind when you start talking like I do. I can talk about things that I will share with you at one point about things that I have actually gone through, that I've actually know, that I've actually seen, that have actually been revealed. And they've been revealed to me, and I've revealed them to other people where they thought I was crazy and laughed at me. And then when they actually came to pass years later, they realized that maybe I have something, maybe I am a little strange. I believe that when you do your DNA and they find a percentage of you that is unknown, it's because it's technically unknown. We are a mixture of many, many types of plants and minerals in the world. We are connected to the universe. We can say that we grew up like a weed, but at the same time, although we connect, some of us disconnect. Sometimes we have allergies and we think that the allergies, is the pollen is killing us. But sometimes maybe it's because the energy in that plant or the energy in the pollen is not at the same frequency as you, because everything has to do with frequencies. So I think that it is important for us to understand that we can make the change if we really want to, and we shouldn't be afraid. It's not that we can't be. A lot of people are afraid. You know, sometimes, you see seances that people, I'm afraid of that. Well, you know what? Sometimes people are afraid of the unknown, but at the same time that people are afraid of the unknown, people do not know how to respect something that is new. If the fishermen see a mermaid, they're not going to try to they're going to try to capture it so that doctors can study it, and they eventually are going to kill it, because that is the way they are. That is the way this human life has evolved, where everything has to be dissected. They want to know everything. I hear it said on several occasions, okay, well, we dominate this country, we dominate this planet, so we're going to go out there and we're going to go see what's out there in our universe. No, it's not your universe. It's not our universe. It's the universe that belongs to a whole collective of people that have nothing to do with us, that are not even us. And if they are us, they may be us in the future or us in the past. But at the end of the day, they're not us. The universe doesn't belong to us. This planet does not belong to us. We've learned that, okay? But what has happened? Greed, again, has taken over. Because like I said, there are societies like the Illuminatis that do exist. There are other societies like the Masons, the 33-degree Masons, and other different types of people that are in different groups, because there's a lot of them, not just one. There's actually like 13 groups or even more. So these groups have looked through documents of the scrolls of Alexandria, and they have learned a lot of the things of how to make money, how to keep money flowing. And anytime somebody like me, or anytime somebody goes on YouTube and they start talking about this stuff, they kind of like turn us off, because first of all, they say it's a conspiracy theory. But if it was a conspiracy theory, then why do you take us off? Okay, that's because the universe that we live in is not the same universe that everybody else lives in. We don't see everything the way everybody else does, and that makes it strange. Well, guess what? I'd rather be strange than to walk around looking like everybody else and doing certain things. Now, there are many codes that have been given through these scrolls that were lost and burned and whatever. And there is a lot of information out there on number sequences that will heal you, that will help you with finances, that will help you with the things that you want. Which next week, I will actually give you a list of numbers. We can go over the list of numbers, and you choose the numbers that you want to use as frequencies for yourself, so that it can heal you. But again, it's like anything that you do. If you meditate every day for 5 minutes, it's better than not meditating at all. So don't believe that meditating for 5 minutes, you're not going to conquer, you're not going to achieve anything, because it's a lie. You will achieve many things. Do not believe the hype that you have to do this and you have to do that. Okay, people fast. I believe in fasting. I fast. Actually, no, I do. Well, I do intermittent fasting. I actually eat one meal a day. Even though I look very healthy, I eat one meal a day. Sometimes when I get really hungry in between that, it's like 3 o'clock, I'll maybe drink some juice. And I'm fine. I don't faint. I have any of that stuff. But again, sequences. If spirit gives you numbers, repeat them. because that's the only way that you're going to connect. And every time the spirit guides you somewhere, like if you're driving your car and something says, don't go in that direction, listen to spirit, go the other direction. And then when you find out what happened in that direction, thanks spirit, thank you for guiding me to where I needed to go. And like I said, it will talk to you in your own voice, because your voice is the only voice that doesn't scare them. And then when you start getting familiar with your voice and constantly let them know that you are in gratitude of their help, then the spirit will change their voice, and then you will start to hear them in their voice. Okay. But I want you to understand that if you're not at the same frequency as spirit, you're going to hear nothing but mumbling sounds. So you have to make sure that through prayer, through meditation, you pull in your spirit guides, your angels, your spirit, your guides, so that they can continue to be on the same wavelength. Because again, it's all about energy, and it's about wavelength, and it's all about dimensional pull. It's also about vibrations and sounds. And recently scientists actually heard in the universe, in space, the actual sound of Om. So they realize, and they come to the conclusion that it is real, that the sound of the universe is Om. And for people who meditate, if you meditate every single day, like let's say like I do, Om Namah Shivaya, or Om Mani Padme Hum, or Om. If you're in a car and you don't have the radio on and you're at the traffic light, if you stay quiet and nobody's beeping the horn, you will actually hear that the universe does have a sound, and it is an Om sound. So these things, if you look at them, they should not surprise you. Okay. Now, another thing that a lot of people are not understanding is why are children in this era, why are they so in tune? Well, you know what? We are truly living in the age of Aquarius. The 70s sang, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. That might have been the dawning, but this is the age of Aquarius. This is the age where all these new millennials, they're being born with, actually a lot of millennials are being born with big heads. And people may think, why are these children being born with big heads? They will eventually grow into their heads, but they have big brains. They need big brains because they're in touch with something that we're not. They're born in touch with their spiritual self and spiritual awareness. So when a kid comes to you and says, Mommy, I saw this, or I saw that, don't say you didn't see anything. Actually ask them, what exactly did you see? Can you explain it to Mommy? Can you explain it to Daddy? Can you explain, if it was a person, what did they say? What did they look like? If you have pictures, show them pictures. Maybe there's a picture of them there. But never dismiss children when they tell you that they see things or when they hear things, because some children are clairaudient, they can hear. Some children are clairvoyant. They can, they can either see or they can channel, or they will grow to channel. Seers usually channel, but they become seers first. What else? Empaths are very powerful people, but unfortunately, with empaths, we as humans, and I'm a little bit of everything. So as an empath, I absorb people's energies, and sometimes, that energy can make me a little drained, and sometimes feel a little sick. But nevertheless, I still bounce back. It's all about commitment. It's all about faith. It's all about allowing yourself to be the vessel that the universe has chosen and that people have chosen to make you be able to move forward and to help you in the things that you want, or help you to guide you in the things that you want to know, because you already know, but you just want a confirmation about what you know. Okay, so at the end of the day, for those people who keep getting numbers, say the numbers out loud. If you dream about numbers, I would say play them. Play them. You know, if you see something else, never be afraid to ask spirit, what is going on, and always understand that because you are the vessel, spirit is already dead. Spirit has come and gone, and spirit has their own agenda, and sometimes our agenda ties in with theirs, and sometimes it does not. But at the end of the day, one thing that you cannot do is fear spirit that talks to you and guides you, because they will be the one to always help you. Okay, write down the numbers. Yes, write down numbers that they give you. Look at them and say, you know what, these numbers I can play the lottery. But maybe the lottery is not about just winning the lottery, the numbers. Maybe it's for you to repeat the numbers in sequence. Maybe 444 555 333 211. Maybe that is the sequence that they've given you, and for you, by you repeating it, it will help manifest the things that you need. Okay, so there are a lot of things when it comes to spirituality. There's a lot of things that we know, but there's also so many things that we don't know. We're just learning. We're just touching the tip of spirituality. I mean, people who follow these things, whether, like I said, whether they say it's conspiracy theory, that's their business. But honestly, military has used psychic people to do many things to enhance their spirituality by using biofeedback before most people were using it, to help you open yourself up to be able to see more, to help them. There are some people that are used by actual aliens to speak, to talk about what's going on in the planet. There are many spirits, Native American spirits, African spirits, that talk to us, or they come inside us and they want to talk to people, they want to explain. Let them come in. Don't be afraid. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change who you are. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a person of the devil. It doesn't make you a person who doesn't have faith in your Lord. It doesn't make you a person who is just a user or an abuser of anything. It just makes you different. So at the end of the day, when things seem to be a little different and people look at you like you're different, be happy that they're looking at you as a different person and not as a copycat like them. I'm sorry. Because we were not all born here to copy. We weren't born copies, unless you were born twins. But you're not born a copy. Now, according to media and also science, they've proven that China has been cloning people for many years now, and they're trying to build, the perfect soldiers with no feelings. So it's always good knowledge to listen and to observe, because we have a tendency of blaming every other country for their progression, but we don't talk about what we've done, what we're doing to progress. Because if you all believe that cloning a sheep, a goat, or whatever it was, if you believe that it just stopped there, then you're crazy. It didn't stop there. The cloning process wasn't really talked about anymore. The cloning thing, it kind of like went with the winds. But then you have in vitro fertilization, where they inject you with this, or they put the stuff inside you and these chemicals, and they're telling you you're gonna have one child. And some women have 7 children, some women have 5, some people have 8, some people have 4. So they can't control the gene because they don't splice it the right way, and a gene is constantly changing, just like a virus. So at the end of the day, with all of this being said, is everything has to do with vibration. If you tell a flower or a plant that you love it every day, the plant will blossom and become beautiful. But if you tell the plant that you don't like it, that you hate it, that you just wish it dies, the plant would eventually die. It'll probably dry out and die. It's the same thing that you do to yourself when you fear spirit. If a spirit is not hurting you and they're not throwing things around your house and pulling your legs at night and calling you names and saying stupid shit or doing stupid shit, don't worry about it. Pray, because prayer is always important. Ask if the soul, and you can always learn through divination how to throw and ask the spirit what exactly is it that they're doing and what exactly is it that they want to do. So once you do that, uh, you'll start to better understand spirit. And Kat, before you were talking about the tingling and things like that. Yeah, there are people who get tingling in their head, but sometimes they get chills in the back of the neck or in the arms, or they just get this weird and they shake because they're like, and some people say, oh, they walked on my grave. No, they didn't walk on your grave. They actually walked through you. So at the end of the day, that is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to come by you, and if they can come within you, they will come within you, and maybe you feel differently. Okay, so Sana is that they've been to this is 1970. The PlayStation game named Metal Gear Solid is that they've been doing it for 70 years. Yeah, they've been doing it for 70 years, and a lot of people have been doing many things. There are books that were written, and there are things that were written, that talked about the time of Hitler. There are things that were talked about the fall of the first market. They talked about the four most richest family in the world, the four richest families in the world, and how they got there. Okay, so there are many things that if you pay attention, you will see that it all has to do with vibration and all has to do with connecting to your spirit and not being afraid of what it can do for you or what it's going to do for you. Okay, we need to go to commercial. And guys, I will talk to you on Monday, and I will be coming back with number codes that you can use to heal yourself. Okay, going to commercial now. And I bid you farewell. Namaste. Love you all. Thank you so much for joining my show. I appreciate it. Mm-mm-mm.